Hello, and welcome to the 31 Days of Halloween. I am Exit Light, and this is my channel. Thank you for coming, and if you have found this at the end of the 31 Days of Halloween and you would like to start from the beginning, please head on up to October 1st. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you that 30 of the 31 videos have something in common. Yes, there should be 31 videos that have something in common, but, somebody made a mistake. Me. So 30 of the 31 videos have something in common, and if you are sleuthy enough, if you pay enough attention, you can figure it out. What do all 30 videos have in common? How could she have messed something up and changed it from all 31 videos? If you can figure that out first, you will win an Amazon gift card. If no one figures out what the videos have in common, then another way to enter is to leave a comment below the videos. Everybody who leaves a comment is entered to win the contest. So, make sure you go ahead and do that. All right. Are you ready to talk about the strange disappearance and death of Todd Hofflander in Hell's Canyon, Idaho wilderness deaths? Todd William Hofflander disappeared September 27th of 2010. He disappeared in Windy Saddle in Idaho County, Idaho. His remains were discovered on April 26th, 2020. Todd was 39 years old when he disappeared on Tuesday, September 27th, 2010. He and a friend were hiking there, and they decided to separate, which, for those of us who follow these, know that is rule number 1. Do not separate. And take different paths through Hell's Canyon to the Snake River. Todd never arrived at his destination and was never seen alive again. Nearly 10 years later, it seems that his remains were located, but DNA confirmation is still being awaited. Hell's Canyon was indeed hell for Todd. Todd was helping some friends scout mule deer bucks between Windy Saddle and McAfee Cabin. The group of friends planned on a 4-day hike, and on the 4th day, September 27th, the group split up, and that is when Todd vanished. The area is very rough with steep terrain, with elevations that vary from 1,500 to 8,000 feet above sea level in short distances. He had his black Labrador retriever named Ruby with him on his hike. Hofflander lived in Lucille, Idaho at the time of his disappearance. He was a very experienced hiker and was sufficiently prepared for the overnight trip. When Todd failed to show up at noon on September 28th, his friends notified the authorities and a search and rescue operation then began. Backcountry medics from Orofino and a helicopter from Hillcrest Aircraft assisted early in the search. It flew grid searches of Bernard Creek, Bills Creek, Lightning Creek, the east and west branches of Sheep Creek, McAfee Basin, and Bear Basin. In addition to dog teams from both Idaho and Clearwater counties, search and rescue teams joined this operation. An incident command post was set up at Heaven's Gate Lookout and was manned by personnel from the sheriff's departments of Idaho and Clearwater counties. Despite an extensive search, no sign ever showed up. At the time, Todd was wearing a green t-shirt with a white design on the front, blue jeans, a blue baseball cap, size 10 Oslo hiking boots, and a gold wedding band. He was carrying a camouflage print backpack. He had a mustache, a goatee, 4 scars on his left ear from previous piercings, scars on his groin, along his backbone, and on his forehead at the hairline. He had tattoos, the head of Jesus and the word saves on the right side of his chest, a buffalo skull on the left side of his chest, the cartoon character Wile E. Coyote on his right bicep, and an eagle on his left bicep, the words Thug Life across his abdomen, and the word King across his shoulder blades, and a small circle between his right thumb and index finger. After the search came up empty-handed, there was little hope, and what was left was fading fast. The dog, Ruby, was found in the woods a few days later. She was dehydrated but otherwise in good condition near milepost 15 on Seven Devils Road south of Riggins. She was located on the opposite side of the Seven Devils mountain range from where Hofflander has last been seen. Searchers tried to get her to lead them to Todd, but with no success. After the dog was found, searchers combed the area, but they found nothing. According to a post by New Boots of Idaho on a forum, which reads, "My husband and I were the ones who found Ruby on Friday. We stopped for lunch at a parking area for hunters about mile 15. We did see where she came from. She came downhill. She sat near the fence and the cattle guard growling at us and also whining and pacing. We had our mini dachshund with us. She was obviously scared. My husband was concerned that it could be a wild dog or possibly ill, but I persisted that I thought it was probably Todd's dog. If not, she was close to a dead ringer for that dog. We later asked several hunters we saw in the area to confirm we weren't taking someone else's dog. We tried, unsuccessfully, to get her to come with us, most likely because our dog was barking. My cell phone had coverage, but a very low battery. I called the manager at the Best Western because the number was in my phone, and I asked her the name of Todd's dog. I had seen the posters, but I didn't remember her name. Another truck pulled in about that time, and the people in it were taking pictures. When I called to Ruby, their dog jumped out of the truck and frightened her. We got to talking with them, and we all agreed that it could be Ruby. They had dog food and water and dishes, and when we put them down and called her again, she came bounding, tail between her legs, but happy. We petted her and asked, "Where's Todd?" She became very excited and danced all around, jumping up to my shoulders and licking my face. It was rather emotional. We called out many times for Todd, and later my husband and I explored the area a bit more, but to no avail. We were not equipped for a detailed search. Since we run ATVs, the other couple offered to take her down to Riggins. I called back to the hotel, and they got the sheriff to meet them when they arrived. We left our names and information when we arrived, but the deputy never came to speak to us. I have video when we first saw her, and I took pictures to show where we found her. Granted, it was just on the road, but my husband did see her coming down near the fence, so she may have been up in the hill a ways. He has bad knees, and although he said his first instinct would be to go down to a river where someone could find him, he said with his bad knees, going up hurts less. I later inquired if there was an emergency phone at the lookout, but no one seemed to know. We found her just a few miles southeast of the lookout, but that is steep country around it. I have a bad knee also, and didn't have the energy to climb it that day. We used to have a dog who would hunt 4 to 5 miles out from us and always return. So we are and were hopeful for Todd. In searching on Google Earth, it appears that there is a small pond just up from where we found the dog. That makes sense since she didn't seem dehydrated, just hungry, although she did drink too, which is interesting because earlier in the report, the dog is described as dehydrated. We have just been praying for a good outcome for this search and will continue to do so. I am also trying to find how to get the pictures and video to his wife and brother if they want them. Then she proceeds to leave the exact coordinates where they were when they found the dog. It looked like it could be a small pond, but maybe it was rocks. Todd's wife said that the hunting group had split up because her husband's knee was bothering him, and they were supposed to meet down at the river, and my husband never showed up down the river. That's something else that is 101. If you have an injury, even a small injury, your ankle is twisted, whichever, and you separate, that seems to give a higher risk for disappearing. She said that the group thought her husband was capable of making it on his own, otherwise they wouldn't have left him. She now thinks her husband started to make his way toward the meeting place, but possibly turned around because of his injury. Keep in mind that the man earlier said that it was easier on his bad knee to hike up than it was to hunt down. It was also established that Todd had a large pistol of an unknown caliber with 5 bullets in it and an additional handful. He also had a big lighter, 2 packs of Lipton red beans and rice, 3 jugs of water, 2 cans of chicken, chewy bars and pots, a 15-degree bright red sleeping bag, and it is estimated that his pack probably weighed 50 pounds. He had no radio or cell phone. Ruby was wearing a red doggy backpack. On Sunday, April 26, 2020, the Idaho County Sheriffs and the Idaho County Coroner were notified that a hunter found what appeared to be the remains of a human skull above Bernard Creek. The hunter located other items in the area, including a pack containing camping equipment and a digital camera. 8 personnel from the Idaho County Sheriff's Office are taken by jet boat to the mouth of the Bernard Creek by Kilgore Adventures. Then they hiked approximately 1 mile in, where they located a portion of a human skull and other skeletal remains. Officers were able to recover photographs off of an SD card located in the pack, which belonged to Hofflander. The authorities said that everything found at the scene indicated that the remains were Todd's. The Idaho County Coroner, Cody Funk, sent the bones to the ADA County Coroner for evaluation and DNA testing. The results of this analysis have not been published as of September 2020. So, what happened to Todd that day in Hell's Canyon? Did he stumble because of his injury? How did he end up so far from the point he left the rest of his hunting group? Is it possible that Todd's friends were somehow involved in his disappearance? And just out of curiosity, why wouldn't the sheriff get a hold of the witnesses who found Todd's dog? Also, they didn't mention the dog having a doggy backpack. Did it? And if not, why not? Thank you for coming to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, please do so. And if you would like to be notified when my content goes live, go ahead and click that bell. Good night.